learning is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction moves from the group learning space to the individual learning space, and the resulting group space is transformed into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the educator guides students as they apply concepts and engage creatively in the subject matter. Exactly. Got that? Good. Now forget about that for a minute. Let's look at the simpler way of figuring it out. Flipped learning is active learning. And in flipped, you take the easy, and let's be honest, sometimes boring stuff, and have the students do that before class, at home. I'm talking about your lectures, software demonstrations, textbook content, etc. The stuff YouTube was built for. Not that your lectures aren't great, they probably are, but ask yourself, do you really need to stand in front of your students to present it? Or do you think there's a way students could look at your lecture at home and still grasp the ideas you present? If we move that easy stuff before class, for the students to do at home, now they can come to your classroom and be prepared for the challenging stuff you can help them with. You and I both know your classroom time is extremely valuable. It also is the best place for students to learn from your expertise. So before continuing on to why you should flip, let's take another moment to explain the how. Then we'll get back to that whole pedagogical bit. So think of this as the crib notes for how flipped learning is set up for your lessons. You take your lessons' learning objectives and split them into two groups, basic and advanced. The basic objectives are going to be your factual knowledge, concepts, and general application of those. You know, the stuff you cover in those lectures and textbooks. The advanced objectives are where your students are mastering the art of critically thinking about the basic objectives, where they actually apply those concepts and where they compare, contrast, debate, and decide one course of action or another based on their mastery of the basics. Now you take those two sets of objectives and create activities, pre-class activities and in-class activities. Your basic objectives are what you want to create pre-class activities to cover. Those activities are completed by the student before class. But I'm guessing you probably figured that out. The in-class activities should be designed around the advanced objectives. I don't think I need to make a note of where in-class activities get completed. Now, there's another set of activities, post-class activities, that cover overarching topics and objectives. These are typically more in-depth tasks tying lessons together. These activities are designed to be completed after class. Yeah, probably didn't need to tell you that either. So, why? Well, look at the pedagogical side now. So this is the basic Bloom's taxonomy triangle. The goal is to get students into higher order learning where they are thinking critically. Remember those pre-class activities I mentioned? Those cover the base area of the triangle, the lower order learning skills. The in-class activities should be designed to take students into the realm of higher order learning, moving up the triangle. The post-class activities also fall into this category. So why else? Well, I mentioned active learning. That always tends to help keep students engaged. Always a good thing. It also helps students take ownership of their learning and encourages critical thinking. Also good things. And who doesn't like accessibility? Content created for flipped learning can typically be accessed on demand and students can review it repeatedly. Not to mention you can provide the same info in multiple formats. And as if more engaged students and accessible content weren't great ideas, there's always the classroom time I mentioned before. More time for higher order learning, more time for collaboration, and more hands-on time for mastering those skill-based objectives. So I guess my question for you is, why not?